Welcome to this explainer. Most people aren't actually destroyed by their problems. They're destroyed by their reaction to those problems. Today, we're unpacking a psychological phenomenon that is literally going to change how you look at your daily stressors. Once you get a solid grip on the wild horse effect, you're going to see life totally differently.
Let's jump right in with a quote you've probably heard before: life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you respond. It sounds super simple, right? But man, is it profoundly difficult to actually pull off when you're in the heat of the moment.
Think about it. A small issue usually just stays small. That is, until panic, anger, or fear gets involved and turns it into an absolute disaster. And let's be real, this happens to us every single day, often without us even noticing we're doing it.
And that brings us to this fascinating concept observed out in the African savanna known as the wild horse effect. In psychology, it basically describes a scenario where a super minor trigger causes this massive, totally self-destructive emotional reaction.
Picture this. You've got this wild horse out in nature, right? A tiny vampire bat swoops down and bites it. The trigger itself causes minimal blood loss. It's practically harmless. But the horse's reaction? It completely panics. It runs endlessly across the plains until it literally collapses from exhaustion. The crazy part here is that the bat's bite didn't kill the horse. That massive, fear-driven reaction did.
There's a really similar metaphor here. Imagine a snake slithering over a saw and it gets a tiny little cut. Instead of just retreating, it turns around and coils around the blade to fight back. Enraged by the pain, it squeezes tighter and tighter. With every squeeze, it's only hurting itself more. It dies, never realizing that the motionless saw wasn't the real danger. It was its own uncontrollable emotion.
All right, Section 1, small bites, big reactions. Let's pull this back to the real world and look at how this plays out in our own daily lives and careers.
Imagine getting just one cold message from your boss. It just says, "See me." That's it. No context at all. Instantly, your brain starts directing a horror movie. You're thinking, oh no, I'm in trouble, I messed up, I'm definitely getting fired. You spend hours in pure, unadulterated stress, and then you finally meet with them. They literally just wanted a quick update. The message wasn't the pain, your spiraling reaction was.
Or how about a relationship delay? Someone you really care about doesn't text back for a few hours. Instead of just being patient, you automatically assume, well, they're ignoring me, something is definitely wrong. We completely misinterpret a normal delay as outright rejection, maybe send off an angry text, and boom, suddenly we've created a very real problem out of thin air.
We see this all the time at work too. You make one little mistake. Now, a calm person just fixes it, but a reactive person, they start to spiral. I'm terrible, my career is toast. And what happens next? Your confidence totally tanks, your performance drops, and that one single error quickly snowballs into 10 more.
And wow, we even do this with total strangers online. You get one critical comment on a post and boom, your entire day is ruined. Your good mood? Gone. Your energy? Zapped. Just imagine giving that much power over your life to someone who literally doesn't even know you.
And hey, this happens in business too. A minor cash flow hiccup leads to these massive panicked budget cuts. A tiny move by a competitor sparks this rushed, totally wasteful strategy. Or just one critical comment from an investor causes a founder to completely abandon a really strong idea. In the boardroom, leaders often behave exactly like that panicked wild horse.
Which brings us to Section 2, inside the panicked brain. Why on earth do we keep doing this to ourselves? Let's take a peek at the neuroscience.
It all starts right here, with something psychologist Daniel Goleman calls an amygdala hijack. Basically, your brain's emotional alarm system floods your entire body with cortisol and adrenaline before logic even has a chance to tie its shoes. Your body is physically preparing to fight or run away before you've even fully processed what's actually happening.
Because here's the thing, our brains are absolutely obsessed with survival. They treat a mere inconvenience like life or death danger. A delay feels like rejection. Criticism feels like a physical attack. Uncertainty feels like a total disaster. We literally trick ourselves into treating a minor annoyance like a massive crisis. But we have to remind ourselves, not every alarm means there's a fire.
And if you struggle with this, please know you are so not alone. While emotional dysregulation affects around 4 to 6% of the general adult population, studies show it affects up to 50% of adults with ADHD. So this is a widespread, very real biological struggle. Sometimes your nervous system is just working a little too hard to protect you.
So the absolutely crucial takeaway here is this. The entire ocean cannot sink a ship unless the water breaches the inside. The world is always going to throw difficulties your way. You literally cannot stop the ocean. But those negative emotions, they can't actually take you down unless you open the hatch and let them in. Okay, Section 3, Taming Your Inner Horse. Let's get into the good stuff and talk about how calm people actually win and how you can reclaim your peace.
The ancient Stoic philosophers figured out early on that emotion actually happens in stages. You can't control that first movement, that initial, sudden physiological shock, but you have absolute control over the second stage, judgment. This is the totally crucial stage of choice, right before that feeling turns into a runaway, destructive emotion. As Epictetus reminds us, if someone insults you, you haven't actually been injured unless you choose to believe that you've been harmed. Think about that. Your own mind has to be complicit in the provocation for it to actually hurt you.
Calm people aren't just magically lucky, they're trained. They rely on practical steps. First, just pause. Don't react instantly. Second, breathe deeply. When you slow down your physical body, you slow down the panic. Third, ask yourself, what are the facts here? Not your fears, just the facts. Fourth, wait before responding. Seriously, sit on that angry email. And fifth, focus on the very next step, not the ultimate worst-case scenario.
Clinical psychology actually backs this up with some incredible tools. There's emotion labeling. Literally just naming your feelings can instantly decrease that amygdala activity we talked about. Self-distancing lets you look at the situation like an outsider. Cognitive reframing flips the script. Instead of thinking, my boss is mad at me, try, my boss is just super busy. And never ever underestimate the power of just getting out into green spaces, or honestly, just treating yourself with a little self-compassion when you're struggling.
The goal is to start recognizing small problems as exactly what they are, small problems. Conserve your precious energy for the actual battles. Remember, not every piece of criticism is a personal attack. Not every silence is a rejection, and not every delay is a sign of disrespect.
There's this fantastic therapy metaphor I love. Imagine you're in a tug-of-war with this hideous monster over a bottomless pit. The harder you pull on the rope, the harder the monster pulls back. Well, sometimes the absolute best way to win against those spiraling emotions is to just drop the rope. Just let it go. If you can control your emotions, you control your outcomes. Do not let that wild horse throw you. So, I want to leave you with a question to think about. What causes the most overreactions in your life right now? Is it stress, your ego, fear, maybe social media? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks so much for exploring this explainer with me, and next time you feel that panic rising, remember to pause before you run.